Boys, I can't tell you, as that 30-second intro goes, I'm always like, man, when's the last time I was able to like excitingly start this show? I don't even know how to start these shows anymore because vibes are so down. Things are not going well at all. Shout out John F. Like and subscribe. Please like and subscribe. Yeah, I don't even, we were just kind of briefly talking before we launched this. We don't have much of an agenda today. Not that we ever really do, but I think Saturday, I do want to discuss that game because it's a top probably 3 most miserable or Kansas basketball games I can remember ever watching. And we knew that Houston was better. We knew that Houston was more physical. We knew that Houston would be a nightmare matchup for us, especially after how much we kind of played out of our minds the first time. But I'll be honest, I did not even see this. I didn't even see this as a possibility to just, and we'll talk more about this, but like, I cannot believe the lack of competing. Like, it just felt like we were content getting our asses kicked that entire game. So I don't know. We got to talk about where we think this team, like, what do you do now? What do we even talk about? What's the expectation? What do we want? So I don't, B-Turn, give me your thoughts. Are you as down as me?
Yeah, I am. I have no expectations or any hopes at all. It wouldn't shock me if they play 2 or 3 more games the rest of the season. Obviously, they're banged up. That's not really an excuse. They haven't been playing good basketball for a while now. You just asked when the last time we've been excited to record. It probably has to be the Houston game when we beat them, because I remember talking about how we had K-State and Manhattan shortly after, and we lost that game. And since then, they've been super inconsistent. And I know I didn't really see them getting beat by 30 at Houston, but I had a feeling it was coming. I mean, I had a feeling they'd get punked after what happened at Allen and how bad they've been on the road this year. So they got punked, bullied from the opening tip. And like you said, no energy, nothing. It just didn't look like anyone wanted to play. I guess KJ kind of played hard. He also got tackled by someone in the first half and wasn't called, but not that it mattered. It was super embarrassing. I know you tweeted about turning the game off. I couldn't watch the second half. It was disgusting. Like, you're down 20. I had a feeling KU wouldn't even score as many points as Houston had at that point. I think it was like 37-17. 33% from the floor, 3 for 21 from 3. It's just like a normal night for this team from 3. They hit maybe a max of 5 or 6 threes in a game. Furphy hit 2, so he was maybe the only bright spot on offense. I feel awful, and I'd be over the moon if they made the second weekend. I can't believe I'm saying that, but I would be amped if they made it to the Sweet 16 and gave Bill a couple days to prepare for that Sweet 16 game.
Yeah. AB, you have said for the last few weeks that home games don't matter. What this team does at Allen Fieldhouse doesn't matter. And I think this was a classic example of you being 100% right. Like, I cannot fathom that we just beat our rival 90-68. Played great. Timberlake had the best game of his, career. Dickinson looked, he wasn't making a ton of shots, but Dickinson looked as good as he's looked defensively. You even said last episode you were convinced he could actually maybe be a factor defensively. Everything was clicking. DeJuan was looking great. And to see us just roll over on the road like we did, and I know Houston's really good, and I do want to talk about like how much you actually should be taking away from this game, but I don't know. Is this what you expected? Did you expect any fight, or were you just totally out on? I think you were. You didn't really feel like the Allen Fieldhouse performance from Tuesday against K-State mattered at all.
Yeah, I didn't have a lot of confidence going into it. I think there was a little bit of hope strictly based on history and strictly based off Bill's not going to go 2-7 on the road in conference. We're not going to lose 8 conference games. Like, that was maybe the only hope. But if you just look at this team and how they play and the fit that they are and just kind of the vibes around the program right now, they weren't going to win that game ever. And
No.
Bill said it earlier in the week. He said that he was excited because it was a game that they can kind of measure themselves against the best. And if they can compete with Houston, they can compete with anybody. Well, breaking fucking news, boys, they can't compete with anybody right now. This team, and I think each of us have known for weeks now that this team, we wanted to deny it. We wanted to look back at, try and come up with any positives we can. But the fact that we, on back-to-back episodes, spent 30 minutes each talking about lineups for next season when we're just getting into March for this season.
Oh, I'm locked into the portal.
Kind of tells us everything we didn't know about how we actually feel about this team going forward. And they just don't have it. And the thing that almost makes me the most mad is it's not like we're the only 3 people that have this opinion that this team isn't very good. My problem with it is they don't seem to have the it factor to use that to their advantage and use it as a nobody believes in his card. Nobody thinks we can do this. Nobody thinks we can do that. It's not that way. 2018 had that when they lost at home to a bad Oklahoma State team. And they said it on senior night. They said it in the little parade when they made the Final Four at Allen when they got back in town. That they wouldn't be
a 1
here.
seed.
Right. Yeah. That they wouldn't be here if the fans weren't saying stupid shit on Twitter. And I know we do. We all do. But the fact that there hasn't been a single response to A, them playing bad, and B, just the general fan reaction being down on them is kind of frustrating.
Yeah. And I think, B-turn real quick, I was going to say, and maybe this is what you were going to go with, but Self has even not been as hard on these guys as he was that 2018 team, which has been weird to me too. And we can go into that more, but yeah, go ahead, B-turn.
No, I was going to say how crazy the spiral has been. I mean, preseason, we were so amped. We watched them play in Puerto Rico. They're obviously preseason number 1. They come out, beat Kentucky, and the big three for us look incredibly good. DeJuan has a career high 23. And then you finish that gauntlet of a non-con schedule with 1 loss. If I told you after non-con this team was going to be a 4 or 5 seed, maybe we can be a 3. I don't know. What would you have said? I would have been shocked. Our schedule was tough, obviously, in the Big 12, the second half of it, but you would have thought they could have taken advantage of the front half of that schedule.
I truly don't think it could have gone worse. I don't think we could have sat down as a group of 3 and mapped out a worse Big 12 schedule. Obviously, you can say, oh, you go 0 for 18. But, if we truly, knowing what we know about Kansas and Bill Self and Big 12 and this roster, I don't know if we would have ever got to a point where we were well, we could lose at West Virginia. We could lose at UCF. We could lose at home against BYU. We didn't ever go out and get a big road win. That is what I can't get over. Oh, yeah. Sorry to interrupt, but I just had to throw that out.
No,
you could have never predicted this.
And
after the non-con.
We've said this for a couple weeks now. How easy is this team to guard? You see all the screenshots of everyone packing the paint, KJ and Hunter, and there is no threat to hit jumpers out. No threat on this team. Besides, Furphy, he went through a cold stretch. He hit a couple on Saturday. Kev, I have no clue what's going on with him. Obviously, Juan just doesn't shoot threes. So this team has to be so easy to guard, and that's why we'll obviously talk about the Big 12 tournament in a little bit. They're probably going to play Cincinnati Wednesday night. Cincinnati's 19th ranked team defensively, according to KenPom. I don't know about you guys, but it's going to be a game. Maybe West Virginia can beat them and we beat them, but that's going to be 3-point spread depending on how we're looking injury-wise. So that's going to be a 1-possession game down the stretch, and whoever wins. But there's no way they're going to blow out Cincinnati. So the offense is just terrible, and I don't really trust anyone to score right now. We can't make jumpers, but it's a lot of missed bunnies too. Kevin's missed a lot of bunnies. Hunter, KJ, no one can finish around the rim either.
There was a possession, and I think I texted you guys before when it was really early in the game. We were 1 for 12, I think, from the field, and I had said that against Houston the first time we missed 14 shots all game, and then Ryan responded with, tweet that once we get to it. Literally the next possession, we missed 3 layups in a row, and Houston got a rebound. It's what the fuck, man? Come on. There's no way. There's no way.
Dude, and it's just we are doing things that horrible basketball teams do. At one point, Dickinson, I think Furphy went to the line, shot a free throw, made the first one, missed the second one. Dickinson got the rebound, had a fairly makeable putback, I think, if I remember correctly, missed it, but got fouled. You're like, okay, that was good. Like, nice. Got an offensive rebound, turned it into a 3-point possession. No, Dickinson clanked both free throws. We went from 4 free throws on a possession to 1 make with 2 guys that I would say are good shooters. And also in that time span had a layup attempt. It's just like we are doing things that we have seen. I tweeted this yesterday. Is this what it felt like to play in Allen Fieldhouse for all these years? Because we just looked like one of those teams that walks into Allen Fieldhouse and is shook from the jump. We've always said it about K-State teams. They walked in with this like mindset of they can't win. And if they, K-State's kind of had the whole refs are against them thing. But a lot of teams walk in thinking we can't win in Allen Fieldhouse. And that is exactly how we walked in yesterday. Like it was like this team just knew.
Every bucket we made felt like the end of the world. I was like, oh my, let's go. Like we got some momentum. I think we had 7 points with 7 or 8 minutes left in the first half.
Dude, I tweeted, will we score, or not tweeted, I texted a group chat, said, will we score 50? And I was kidding. I was like, of course we'll score 50. We didn't, by the way. Like it's crazy.
That's twice in the last month, by the way, that we've scored 50 or fewer in a game and lost by 29 plus.
We've said it for a month or so. Like the margin for error is so small. And I remember saying this in non-con, like there's going to be nights where this team scores 50 points. Maybe I didn't really think less than 50, but they managed to do that. So I think we all 3 of us knew like they're going to have to be insanely good defensively because there is going to be nights where they don't hit threes. And that has happened pretty much throughout Big 12 play. Like we pretty much called it.
Yeah. And AP, I think you made a really good point on Saturday to me that like Fran Fraschilla kept talking about, the depth, the lack of depth, the depth.
Oh my God.
So, but do we at all in chat chime in here? I think the bench takes a lot of heat.
Yes.
Maybe I'll let you just take this away. The bench takes a lot of heat, but the starters have not been good either. And
right.
So go ahead.
Yeah, that's my biggest thing. It feels like every time someone has like at least nationally, when you're watching a game or pregame broadcast, it's always, oh well, they're just not deep enough. That's my biggest concern is they don't have enough guys to come off the bench and fill in for these starters. They got the best starting 5 in the country when they're healthy, but it's like, okay, so we're talking about like 20% of the game right now that the bench is actually on the court. Like all of the starters are playing 30 or 35 minutes a night. It's not like we're going long stretch with these guys out. Obviously, it's a problem. I'm not saying our bench is like great at basketball right now. But the fact that that's always the first thing that's brought up when talking about KU drives me nuts. Yeah. Like it's like it doesn't focus on the actual issue that we have. And I'm going to get worked up about the damn Hunter coming back next year thing again because it's the same thing. People want to ignore what we're watching because something else is telling them something different. Yes, the stats are there. The fit is not. It's simply not. And when you play teams like Houston that are athletic the way they are, and you're playing teams that are going to make you switch 5 spots all the way around the whole game, it does not work. We saw it a million times on Saturday again. Hunter cannot hedge to save his life. Yeah, he may be starting to become a difference maker down low in the post. If you try and have him guard on the perimeter, it's over. They've already won. It's 2 points at least for the other team. And that's so easy to go against. And Braden already mentioned how easy it is to guard us. Like, there's nothing you can do. There's literally, they were just simply double teaming Hunter every time down the court when KJ had the ball, just letting him have 20 feet of open space to do whatever he wants to do with it. And there's nothing you can do with it. It's like playing 4-on-5 on offense.
That's why we've said all year, like the 3 guys that can't play together, I don't see how they're not back next year. And I don't see how Bill doesn't start all 3 of them because he obviously loves DeJuan and KJ. Hunter's giving you 20 and 10. He's going to start if he comes back. So we're going to start those 3 again that we say can't play together. They mess up the spacing. Who is he booting off the team out of those 3? Like I think Bill's too nice. He's also too stubborn sometimes, but it just terrifies me. Like it's going to be, obviously you can get 2 more shooters to surround them, but still feels like the margin for error is so small.
So I threw this out last night to you guys in the group chat being like, okay, if we are so convinced that all 3 are back, which I think Bill Self made it very clear on senior night that he wants Hunter Dickinson back. Now, he's also said that DeJuan Harris is coming back. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I think we all agree KJ's likely back. I'm talking myself into a little bit, maybe Bill starting to realize that this just can't work, but I also, let's assume they all three are back. I think the odds say that's the most likely scenario. So then I started thinking, AB, I know you've been at my neck for this when I say that we don't have scoring guards and we don't have guys that can and you're like, well, Kevin McCullough's averaged 20 a game. But also, since we've been really, really bad and losing a lot, Kevin McCullough has been bad. He's been not a threat. He's been hurt, which is, nothing against him, I guess. But so he really hasn't been what he was when we saw him getting those stats. So what I threw to the group chat last night was, if you had to take past Kansas basketball players that were not build a super team, yes, you could say, oh, let's go get Devontae and Andrew. I don't know. I'm saying if we had to go back and get past Kansas basketball players, the style, which guys would we want to see paired with DeJuan, KJ, and Hunter? And I think the obvious answers are you need a Grady Dick, you need a Svi, or a Furphy. Maybe Furphy somehow. We can talk about that too, but Furphy, I feel like we need back. I see Josh Jackson, but I don't think Josh Jackson solves anything. He can't shoot. He can't extend. I think he's kind of just a better version of KJ, which is good.
And I love Josh. Josh might be my favorite one and done ever, but I don't think.
And that's the thing. KJ would be so. I don't know. So KJ is a good basketball player. He absolutely is. It's just I don't know. If KJ's point guard was Devontae, who could shoot it, is this a different – is it a completely different conversation? Or, what works around KJ, I guess, is my bigger question. If KJ and Hunter –
Dude, KJ and Josh together actually is kind of intriguing to me.
Yeah. You really are into – no, this is – my guy, Christian, I appreciate you chiming in as we talk. But, I don't think the spacing's Hunter. It's not.
But Ryan,
it's KJ and DeJuan.
Yes. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But I don't think that improves.
What are we doing?
But I don't think that improves. If we just run it back, okay. So here's a realistic starting five next year. A realistic one. Tell me if you like it or not. If you'll go into if it's August of 2024. And we're talking before football season, we're like, this KU team, we just start talking about it for 20 minutes on a random episode. And the starting lineup is DeJuan at the 1, Furphy's back at a wing, McNeely's at a wing, KJ and Hunter. Are you excited about that team? Do you think basically replacing McCullough with McNeely, we love the mix. I can't wait to see how Fran pronounces his name. Do you think that starting five does significantly better than the current starting five?
I think it's better, but I'm still concerned at who's going out and getting you a bucket there.
Yes.
You can throw it to Dickinson in the post.
That's exactly the transfer portal was just a complete whiff this offseason. Timberlake hasn't been good, obviously. Go get Arterio, who's not playing minutes at all. There's so many guards and guys around the country that we were interested in that could be averaging 15 points a night or something like that, or be able to go get their own bucket. I'm watching UNC yesterday. They get Harrison Ingram, who has been a stud. He's averaging double figures. He gets double-figure rebounds all the time. We were interested in him. They get Cormac Ryan, the 40-year-old or whatever he is. He went off, won them that game. Think about UNC and us. We were preseason one. They were whatever. I think they were preseason one last year. They ended up kind of shit in the bed, but just them doing well in the portal has now made them a national title contender. UNC, they're going to be a 2 seed maybe. They have a great chance to win it all. I know they have a really good point guard, a guy that can score. We don't really have an aggressive point guard.
So do you think that lineup AB just threw out could work, or do you think we have to have a guy that can get to the bucket? Because that's where I think we still would have issues. Is
we still need a guy that can get to the hole. Right now, Kev was shooting it well until he slumped lately. So, and you still have Furphy in there. So you're basically replacing McCullough with McNeely, a true freshman that he's shot it well in the summer circuit.
But you're getting Furphy, who will be a star if he comes back. So I think that's
one of the pieces in the equation. I don't follow recruiting at all anymore. This guy could be the greatest recruit of all time. He could suck. But how many times have we gone into a year with a starting wing being a 5-star guard coming in, super high expectations, and honestly, it fails more than it works with KU. That's just the facts. Like we can try and defend it all we
Yeah.
want, but if we're looking at it with whether it's El Marco or Quentin Grimes or Bryce Thompson, like they don't always work right away. And if our target right now is to find a freshman stud to come in and be very good from the beginning, I think we're kind of already drawing dead for next year too. Now, maybe that's me overreacting and just, maybe those three guys are just three outliers that happen recently. And it's like, you look around the country and there's, top 15 recruits are usually pretty damn good. And maybe we're just due for one to hit in the first year, but man.
I don't want to sit here and bash on Timberlake, but think and we were excited about him. He was awesome at Towson, knockdown, jump shooter, bouncy. Like, think if you get two guys, you replace Timberlake and Arterio with two instant scores, impact scores that can shoot it. Like, is this team a national title contender? That's kind of what we're talking about now with next year.
Yeah, I think that's the big debate is could having two elite scorers next to KJ, Hunter, and DeJuan.
And it's proven. And it would have been proven scores, too, from the portal. Like, we went after Arterio, who obviously was a 5-star McDonald's guy, but he hadn't proved it at the D1 level. He came off the bench for Texas. And then you put a lot of pressure on Furphy, which I guess you can kind of throw that back at how they struggled in the portal. Like, they got Furphy late and he ended up being an impact player, but then you're trusting a true freshman to be really good the entire year. And I can't even be mad or fault Johnny Furphy at all. Like, he's been way better than I expected.
He's doing what we needed him to do this year. Probably more.
So it feels like a huge whiff in the portal, and you're throwing bags at players that aren't contributing at all. And it feels like if we went about it a different way, it changes the season completely. Like, those decisions right there can change your season entirely. And now we're looking at a 4 or 5 seed, maybe.
I do think, though, that we have let these whiffs in the transfer portal kind of, think about our starting lineup right now. Our two best players are guys we got in the transfer portal, McCullough and Dickinson. So, we don't miss on every transfer portal guy. McCullough came in last year as a first-year transfer portal, and he was exactly what we thought he would be. He was really good. So, I don't think it's crazy to think that we can go hit on at least one transfer portal guy that you think can actually be really, really good next year. AB, you seem to question that.
A little bit, yeah.
So let's just say our last 4 transfer portal
right, but I think that you're pulling out the best of the best that we could possibly get. Like, you're not going to find a guy like Hunter Dickinson in the portal every single year this year.
Yeah, but start why? Right away. Self has gotten 2 of the top 3 transfer portal guys in the last 3 seasons. Like, McCullough was a top 3 guy. Dickinson was the top guy. Self's
right, but Dickinson is going to go down as one of the best transfers in the transfer portal era. Like,
and I'm not saying go get a Dickinson.
It's not an every year thing where there's an All-American going into the transfer portal that we can just snag and bring to KU.
But if there's a guy that averaged 12 to 15 a game last year on a decent team, like, why would we not think we can go get him?
I'm not completely out on your idea. I just don't think it should be as easy as I do agree that we've been good in the transfer portal for the most part, but I don't think
it's just
that
scary.
It's almost like the flip side of, I don't know that we can get used to trusting the transfer portal to be the linchpin of our season going into the year. So
especially because we know that Bill needs guys learning how to play under him. I think McCullough was such a good fit that it made sense and was able to work right away. But a guy like Timberlake is a clear example of it's a rude awakening to play at Bill Self's standard. So
and then maybe a mid-major thing too. I mean, Timberlake came from Towson. He obviously put up big numbers there. He knocked down jumpers consistently. I think he was 40% every year, but maybe it's mid-major thing where some of these kids can't adjust to Power 5 or Big 12 style of play or Bill's system. So I don't know. I was going over Kev's numbers, which I don't really want to harp on him, but you talked about him not really having a good performance in a while. And I think it was really the Houston game at home where I don't think he missed a shot from the floor, but since that Houston game, he's 24 for 69 from the floor.
Yeah, I got a tweet for you.
35,
that tells you exactly.
35%, 6 for 25 from 3, 24%. So it could be injury plagued. He was really good until honestly, until the injuries started floating, the injury rumors started floating around. But 35% from the floor since that game. 5 for 14 earlier this week against K-State. I think he still had 20 points, and then 0 for 4 Saturdays.
So a guy named Henry Greenstein, he tweeted this out earlier. This is kind of adding to what you just said, Braden. Kevin McCullough before January 22nd, 50% from the floor, 38.4% from deep, 84.2% from the free throw line. Starting January 22nd and after, which is the first day Bill Self mentioned his knee injury, shooting 36%, 27% from deep, and 69% from the free throw line. Everything's gone down by at least 10%. It's bad, boys.
So how much do we think it's injury plagued, and how much do we think maybe just being the guy and maybe wearing down a little bit? Because I mean, I feel like Hunter's definitely takes some pressure off of him.
I think it's also just like a getting. We knew he was shooting at a level that he couldn't sustain. We knew that his percentages were going to come down. Now 10% across the board. I don't think anyone thought that would happen. So I think it's a mix of everything, but it's just the worst. It's the worst thing that could have happened to this team from an offensive perspective. Because I think the thing that was making this offense somewhat work, and we look back on like, how are we winning games without Marco Jackson as a starter, but we can't with Furphy? Well, it's because Kevin McCullough was legitimately a top 3 to 5 player in the country, and now Kevin McCullough is not even playing at an all Big 12 level. So
he was first team though.
He was second on the National Player of the Year list, like on a book. It was Hunter, and he was third. It was Edie, Hunter, and Kev.
And it sucks. I mean, he got 2 triple doubles. Like Kevin McCullough was having a really awesome year. So I want to make sure that it's also very clear that I feel bad for Kevin McCullough. I hate that, I think the fans have been frustrated that there's rumblings that he's been cleared and able to play, and he chose not to for the BYU game. But the overall thing is that it flat out sucks that Kevin McCullough was playing his way into like legitimately being discussed as a lottery pick or at least a mid-first round pick. And this knee injury, I think, is going to really, really hurt his chances of going mid-first round. Maybe still could find a way to go first round, but it just feels like this is not what he needed for this. Yeah.
That's why it kind of shocks me now that it's a question that he's going to play or not. That's why I thought the injury was legit, because now you got to play your way into getting drafted and hopefully going in the first. That's a major reason you came back. But yeah, you talked about just him scoring at an elite level and how the margin for error was so small. Like just thinking about last year, like Jay Will was so good all year, but you could afford Jay Will to have an off night because you still had Grady that could score it. You still had Kev that could score it or at least go get a bucket. So even just comparing this team to last year's team is crazy. And they didn't improve the bench at all. We texted about it the other day. Like last year was Joe and Bobby, and then you had Uday and Zuby every once in a while. And then this year it's back to the same thing. You have Timberlake and El Marco coming off the bench. There's nights where they don't score at all, like 5 points max maybe from the bench. Yeah. So it hasn't changed at all. They need a deep roster. They need a guy that comes off the bench, instant offense. I mean, you saw UConn last year who won it all. They had guys coming off the bench that could just flat out score it. You see it now with Kentucky. I'm not saying they're going to win it all, but they got 2 lottery picks coming off the bench that can just flat out score. We need a deep roster with 8, 9 guys who can just flat out play.
Yeah. And so I was going to – this is a wild thing to say, but I actually think it's very debatable. Or actually, I think there's maybe a clear answer. Let's just say you rewind to last year's offseason. I don't know. I'm thinking this through how I want to ask it.
Brain was in a pretzel there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. If Self would have just done nothing other than, I guess, getting Dickinson changes things. Actually, no. Let's pretend Self does nothing. We go and we keep Joe Yesufu. We keep Ernest Uday. We keep Zuby. We keep Bobby Pettiford. Is that team better than this team?
No.
I don't know. Like, assuming you get Furphy still, because that wasn't part of like transfer portal stuff. I mean,
who would?
But like, okay, so the starting lineup's
our bigs would average
Furphy, McCullough, and Ernest Uday, and KJ. Oh god, yeah, the spacing issue. The spacing issue is even worse.
Well, there would be nights we score 37 points. I mean, I'm serious. On the
Scored
road,
46 last night, baby.
I guess I
it
was
might be
thinking.
nice to score 29. No, I know what you're saying.
Speaking
I thought
of
about
29,
the other,
Marquette women scored 29 tonight.
because I was thinking last night,
Okay.
like if we didn't, people are talking about wanting Hunter to leave, not getting Hunter. Like if we didn't get Hunter, we might be flirting with an NCAA tournament. I know that sounds crazy because they probably could have got someone else, but I think we maybe be playing in like the 8-9 game. I mean, we would have no one that could score offensively.
But I'm going to say this. You take Hunter out, that's kind of what AB is in a weird way proposing for next year.
I'm saying if we started KJ and
I'm not saying you don't even have to start Uday. You could run back. We could have ran back 5 guards and gone like DeJuan, Joe, Furphy, McCullough,
Joe
and
shooting
AJ.
Joe getting 20 field goal attempts a game.
I think there's something
logo threes.
Yeah, I think there's something to like learning how to play under Bill Self. I know Joe Yesufu hasn't been good where he went, but could he have maybe taken another step because now he's learned under Bill Self a little more? He's gotten used to it. So I don't know. It's just a weird thought I had in my head last night because we did all this work in the portal and it felt like Bill, and he was very confident in his like press conference where he said, I'm back, I'm feeling good, and we are going to compete for many more national titles. And
we were preseason 1. We won all those non-con games: UConn, Kentucky, Tennessee.
It's good to see that I'm starting to get some support on this take that I've been holding.
I mean,
it felt like everyone was against me at first, and now slowly but surely we're getting some creeping.
It's just okay.
We knew we didn't have a guard that could go too. Like we knew we didn't have a guard that could just go get their own bucket. I think the staff thought that was Arterio, and he kind of showed it in Puerto Rico. So honestly, just him, like losing. You're just a whole body, like doesn't play a minute the entire year. If you go get a guard that can just score and be a threat to shoot it a little bit, like right now we don't have that. Furphy, yeah, he's been solid, but I don't think you worry about Furphy really penetrating, getting to the hole, creating shots for himself. So yeah, just Arterio alone. We just needed a guard that could score. We don't have that.
Yeah. Okay. So AB, you just said it on your take, and your boy Christian, who I think you're paying to come spread this propaganda for you.
Yep.
But Christian and AB, I'm speaking to both of you right now. Like, I guess, and Christian, just respond in the chat. If I run back next year's lineup as DeJuan, I'll even give you, let's say McNeely, because sounds like we're going to get him. Let's assume Furphy leaves. So now you've got DeJuan, KJ, McNeely. You got to find 2 spots to fill around that. You think that's a better way to go into the offseason than DeJuan, McNeely, KJ, Hunter? Like, I still just,
I am going to drive myself insane with this take. I do not care who is around Hunter and KJ and DeJuan. I don't care. It's very obvious to me that they are not working, even if it's Steph and Luka next to them.
Wait, you said KJ and DeJuan?
No, and Hunter.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
I feel like every time this is brought up and you try and make an argument back to me about why I'm crazy for it not working, it's because I don't think KJ and Hunter can play basketball together. The rest of it's irrelevant. Clear all of that out of your mind when making arguments. It does not matter. It does not matter. If those two are playing basketball together, I don't see it working.
Okay, but what do you see working? You don't see a KJ DeJuan team with 2 new transfers working either, and a 5-star freshman that you just said won't work.
Yes. No, I agree with that. I'm not saying I have the answer. If I had the answer, I'd be doing a lot more than talking to you two on a fucking podcast right now. I'd be coaching somewhere. I don't have the answer.
Last year.
I'm just trying to explain that I'm very worried, and I don't really have a lot of confidence going into next year if this is our core. And it's nothing against them. DeJuan and KJ are 2 all-time Jayhawks, and Hunter's an All-American. It's literally nothing against them. Can I ask you what I asked you last night?
Yeah.
After the 2019 season, going into 2019-2020, if Diedrich had said he wanted to come back, would that have made that team better? Because I think that's a very,
it's a great question.
Very comparable.
It's a great question, but I think I gave a great answer.
You did.
That team had the personnel that could win without Diedrich. They had a Udoka. KJ's not Udoka, and unfortunately, DeJuan is also not Devon Dotson. So yes, if KJ was a future first-team All-American and DeJuan was going to average 20 points a game next year, I'd probably say, yeah, we're good without Hunter Dickinson. But those guys don't, like, you cannot win.
So do you think having that the five together that you want with Hunter, KJ, and DeJuan, and then McNeely and a transfer shooter, do you think that team can win a national championship, or do you think that team is better than a team without Hunter and KJ at the five?
I think
we're in a similar spot where we both think we're fucked, and neither team is giving us a national championship.
No, but I actually
back and forth between a second round loss or a Sweet 16 loss.
I actually think Bill could figure out how to make it work with a little better. Dude, oh my God, this Christian guy. I'm not stuck on the numbers. I'm stuck on the fact that a team that's surrounding KJ and DeJuan is going to suck worse than this team does, I think. So, I don't know what else to. Yeah, I guess maybe I'm not convinced that team could win a national title, but I think Bill could figure it out a whole lot better than he could. KJ, DeJuan, and 3 new players around those two. That's where I'm at.
I think this year would have been awful if Hunter didn't come to KU. And yeah, I'm with AB. I don't know if they can make it work with those 3 starting next year. I asked you guys at the beginning, who do you kick off the team? Like, you're obsessed with DeJuan. He's coming back. You love how hard KJ plays. We all love that too. He's obviously been through a lot since he's been at KU. He played on a national title team. You can't really just boot him. You paid Hunter $2.5 billion to come here. If he doesn't want to go pro, he's got a spot back. So it's like, I really don't know what they do. I mean, last year, DeJuan and KJ started, but you surrounded them with 2 really good scorers and a third that played really hard. Next year, I don't know, man. I don't think you can make it work. I mean, you could get 2 shooters, but you're still clogging up space with those 2 at the 4 and the 5.
Well, and I think what we need to make very clear is that AB, in your perfect world, we don't have to have in your perfect world, Hunter Dickinson can come back, but he's going to play for a team that makes a lot more sense. And I think the thing I want to make clear, or I guess I want to see if we all agree on this, and this is not to sound negative or like you just said, KJ is an absolute, love him. But I think we would all agree the best scenario next year is DeJuan, 3 guards, and Hunter Dickinson. Yeah. I think, unfortunately, that's where we're at. I think it's KJ. And somebody said it earlier, KJ is the perfect Jamari Traylor type role. I remember when Jamari was starting at Kansas a lot, people got frustrated. I think KJ is the most perfect 6th man in college basketball because you can play him at the 5, you can play him at the 4, you're never going to have to worry about him giving you effort. He can guard different positions. So I guess maybe we should stop screaming at each other about scenarios that we both kind of think aren't great, but I don't know if KJ will ever leave or if Self would ever do anything about KJ starting.
I think there's been a comment in the comment section tonight about every single player on the roster saying they're not the problem. Something is the problem, right? Something is an issue. And again,
actually, this would be a good game.
KJ is truly one of my favorite KU players in the last 2 decades. I love his passion, his effort. It's so hard with him because he's not a fit at any position. He's just not. And he's going to go out and he's going to bust his ass. He's going to try his best. He can do what's best for the team. He's going to bring energy. He's the one guy on this roster that I think brings energy. And it just sucks that there's no position that I feel super comfortable playing him in. There's just not. And a lot of people, I've seen this on Twitter all week in response to us talking about it. A lot of people are like, move KJ to the bench, play KJ 20 minutes, just put him in a limited role. Is it realistic to say that? Come on now. He's played 35 minutes a game sophomore year and junior year. You think his senior year Right.
Yeah.
And you think as a senior, Bill's going to bring him back, be like, hey, I know you've started 80 games in a row for us, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to throw you on the bench and have you play 17 minutes a night. That just doesn't seem realistic to me.
That's why I wanted to ask you guys. We kind of established this last year. Like Ryan said it first, I think. As long as KJ Adams is at Kansas, Bill Self is going to start him. And I think me and you, AB, we agreed.
Yep.
I think us three, and it's really set. Like we love KJ, and I don't want him to go anywhere. But I think any KU fan that knows ball, like I think they know that's the guy that can't start. Like
Yeah.
you have DeJuan who's going to take care of the ball and facilitate, and then you have a big that averages 20 and 10 that has shot it well throughout college, was shooting it well to start the year. Now he's not, but still got a guy averaging 20 and 10 that needs touches, and it's going to get touches through Bill, and you can't have another guy out there that can't really score from outside of 5 feet.
So, yeah. But I saw someone in the comment say, like, we're not talking about DeJuan, and, like, I think that's fair. It almost is like, is it if KJ – it's a lot of it is I think KJ and DeJuan are just a bad mix. And so how much of it
started
is –
last year.
Yeah. I mean, but how much
one game away from the number 1 overall seed.
How much of it is that, like, if DeJuan was a better shooter and different type of player – would KJ still be looked at as a bad fit? Like if we had a great point guard.
We do.
I know because we talked about the Baylor team that started Flo Thamba.
Yeah, that's exactly where my mind went.
And Vital, but they had the craziest guards. They had Mitchell, Davion Mitchell, Jared Butler, Teague. Yeah. They had Flagler as the 6th man off the bench. So they just had a bunch of buckets, and then you can surround them with bigs that play hard, go after loose balls, guard the other team's best players. So, yeah, I think if we had 3 really good guards, I'm not saying DeJuan's not a good guard. I love him. He's just DeJuan is DeJuan. He's super unselfish.
Right.
Yeah, like those are elite scoring guards that can get a bucket whenever, can create jumpers, get to the rim. So, yeah, if we had –
that's my problem with DeJuan is I feel like he can do that. He shows it in spurts, and it's so frustrating that I wish he would transform a little bit and like be a little more selfish because he's again, even yesterday I thought he looked explosive at times getting to the rim. Like
I feel good when he shoots the ball. I feel like it's going to go in.
Always feel good. I don't care if he airballs. I feel fine if he takes a shot. It's just I don't expect him to change that in his 5th year at Kansas or 6th year at Kansas, whatever it's going to be next year.
And that's where I'm at with this team and this group. And I was going to say it earlier, but I want Bill Self to just go full 2021 after we lose in the tournament and just challenge these guys to the media, because that 2021 team was not much different from 22. You add Remy, who didn't contribute until March. You were a 1 seed in the tournament. So yeah, challenge them, but I don't know if they have the personnel to do that. I don't know if they have the guys in the summer that can just go off and transform their game and become different players. Like you had NBA prospects in CB and Oach, like you knew it, and they didn't have great years when they lost to USC. So I want Bill to just challenge them, but I don't know if we have the guys to do that. Like, is KJ Adams, say you challenge him and you challenge DeJuan, is KJ going to become a knockdown shooter this summer?
I promise you.
No, but
hear all Twitter season. We're going to hear all offseason, KJ's got a jumper now.
Just imagine if KJ works on his outside game. He's unstoppable. Well, we said that last year too, brother.
And is DeJuan going to become this aggressive point guard that is looking for his shot, hitting pull-up jumpers, hitting middies, getting to the lane, finishing? And it's not even a knock on DeJuan because 2022, we showed it. You surround him with studs, with wings, turns them into pros, as CB said. Like, DeJuan was great in that role. I was never complaining about DeJuan. Villanova game, hit a couple threes. That's a couple added bonuses. Just need him to defend and distribute and facilitate. And now there's just a lot of pressure on him to score. And I'm not letting off him. I'm not giving him any passes. I think he should be more aggressive. But he showed that it can work in 2022. I know Remy played a huge part in that team, but
yeah, I mean that. I think part of why I have hope that the core could fit is because 2021 we've said was the worst team we've thought we saw at in the self era, and they found a way. But I totally get the point. Ochai Agbaji was literally training with Damian Lillard all summer and became a lottery pick. And I would agree there's nobody on this team other than Furphy that could do that and could come back and be an absolute star, top 5, top 10 type talent. So I guess that's why I'm talking myself into it a little bit. Well, one, I'm just coming to terms with it. I think we have to start accepting that we're going to see these 3 back. And now I'm just because I would hope that we aren't content with McNeely. Like, let's say Furphy comes back,
perfect,
but we won't know Furphy's back until what, May? So
May or June.
We're going to have a month where Bill's going to have to once again go out, find transfer portal with the assumption that Furphy's gone. Even if you get McNeely, I would hope we're still getting multiple guys because, we have to completely build a bench. And we don't even need, I guess my thing is not about, we don't need 9, 10 guys. We just need the 6 and 7 and 8 guy to actually be capable of coming in and affecting a game and like impacting the game.
If we're being honest, when's the last time we had a good bench? Like Remy was incredible in 2022. He didn't do shit until March, like he said.
But like Jalen Coleman-Lands there were moments in the Big 12 season where you could feel like he could come in and make shots for you. And I don't know. And Mitch
that's not
really
bad.
Solid.
Yeah.
But is that bench much different than this bench right now? Like, do you not feel okay about Timberlake coming in and hitting a shot every 5 games or something? But you brought up Jalen Coleman-Lands. Like, do we think he and Nick Timberlake are that different? Do we think Parker Brown and Mitch Lightfoot are that different? Do we think that El Marco and whoever the fuck up, guess Remy, but
Thompson.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
I think the difference is
I'm not saying Timberland's good, but
I'm not saying Jalen Coleman-Lands.
No, I'm not saying Timberlake's awesome, but compared to Jalen Coleman Lands,
that's why I feel like Jalen Coleman-Lands got a pass for sure because that team was so good.
But I hate that I'm going to be looked at as the guy that was like Jalen Coleman-Lands.
I didn't hate that.
That's not what I meant. I just meant he played his role perfect.
Yes,
he didn't come in and make mistakes. Whereas Timberlake and Elmarco come in and just
Isaiah Moss.
Yeah. Well, Braden, here's the thing though with that bench question. Bill Self's never really had a bench.
Yeah.
Like it's really only 1 or 2 guys that are like. So I mean, I don't know, boys.
How many guys do we lose after this year? We're losing.
It's March 10th. We're about to head into the Big 12 tournament, and all we can talk about is the fucking lineup next year, and it's pissing me off.
I know.
I'm so out.
I guess we could get to Big 12 tournament talk because I wrote down here and I feel like a spoiled fan. But my excitement for the Big 12 tournament in my own city is the lowest it's ever been because, sure, KU could win a game. I don't see them going maybe to the I guess if you had to pick a part of the bracket to be in, we'd probably be where you want to be.
There's a path, baby.
There is a
path, but I have no expectations or hopes. And every year, Big 12 tournament, I feel like we have a chance. Like even Quentin Grimes this year, we made it to the championship game against Iowa State. This year, I just don't feel like I always think we can win it. This year, I don't think there's a chance we can win it.
Well, also, would we rather? Because a few weeks ago, I would have told you, we need to find a way to string together a couple wins in the Big 12 tournament just to, tell ourselves we can win multiple games in a row. But now, I'm kind of I either want to lose Wednesday or win the whole damn thing. Nothing in between. I don't want to play Thursday and lose.
We'd play Baylor probably. Is it Baylor?
I got
probably.
We'd play Baylor in the quarters if we won on Wednesday.
Because I know Texas K-State play, right?
Yeah.
On Wednesday.
So here's
Iowa State.
So let's pretend. Okay, so AB, to your point a little bit about how home games don't really matter because we play just at another level in Allen Fieldhouse. But let's pretend that we're not going to be as bad as we are on the road on these non-con floor or these neutral floors, but we're also playing Kansas City. So let's say we didn't just watch us lose by 1 billion to Houston. Let's just say K-State was senior night. Let's say K-State was senior night. Would we have hope that this team could win the Big 12 tournament?
No. Here's the problem with all this.
Without the
Ryan.
Houston game, yeah.
Here's the big problem is that we're gonna go into not Wednesday night. Let's say K-State pulls off a miracle and beats Texas. Not that that's a miracle, but let's just imagine this. We're not going to have much of a home court advantage because the game before us is going to be K-State versus Iowa State, who are the two other fan bases that show up the most. So, I don't know. It's not going to feel like a home game to me. Yeah, it's close to home, but when 75% of the ticket share is going to Cyclone fans who have spring break this weekend in Kansas City, what's the fucking point?
But I'm not
saying
it's a home court advantage necessarily. I'm just meaning it's not the terrified for whatever reason. This team is horrified of road environments.
No. So to answer that question, I think I don't think. What are you laughing at? I don't think the Houston game has zero effect on how I feel about it. I've been in this boat for a while. We kind of expected Houston would beat us at least, maybe not by 30 and hold us below 50 points, but
33% in the field.
Brother. But I don't know. I will say though, you can even at Baylor, I felt like they were pretty competitive. And at Iowa State, they were pretty competitive. That's what I mean. There's a path if things go really, really well and everyone plays. There's a path to at least get to Saturday and play Houston, which then you get to lose by 20 again.
How much?
But it's also we haven't won more than 2 games in a row in conference play this year, and we're gonna just try and talk ourselves into winning 4 straight in 4 days.
We haven't done what?
Haven't won more than 2 straight in conference play.
Yeah. Yep. This team stinks.
Honestly,
they're bad. We need to have the conversation that you brought up the other day, Ryan.
Amy just wanted you to say it.
We need to have the conversation.
They're bad.
Is this team worse than 2021? Is this the worst team of the Bill Self era? Because it's what about now.
It's got to be a combo.
Obviously, the postseason loss and how that all goes down here in the next 2 to 3 weeks is going to play a big factor in this. But for now, they're pacing that way. They're only half a point better than the 2021 team on Ken Palm was.
And go ahead, B-Turn, but I want to read you.
My thing is, this team's going to lose 2 more. So that's the most losses in the Bill Self era, which I guess you don't have to judge it off wins and losses. But, I mean, there has to be an argument. 2019, I think that team you just take out of the picture because that team was just screwed with injuries. And they were beating a lot of good teams. Losing Doak was just huge. So, yeah, I think you got to compare it to probably 21.
Okay.
And
so let me read 2021's February through beginning of March. I'll just do this quick, but they beat Iowa State. They win at Iowa State. Oh, that was a weird COVID thing where we played them back-to-back weeks. Is that right?
Honestly, don't even count 21 because there wasn't fans. That year, I didn't even care.
We win against Iowa State, win at Iowa State, we win at K-State, we win against Texas Tech, we lose at Texas in overtime, we beat Baylor, who was number 1 in the country, or the best team in the country. We beat UTEP. Remember that game we threw on at the last second of the season we almost lost? No, this was the last game of the regular season because of something.
Alan,
game to schedule.
That was disgusting.
We almost lost. But
wasn't it the Tuesday of Big 12 week or something?
Well, as much as we love Marcus, he was our lead guard. CB and Oates weren't as good as they hoped to be.
But listen, so we get to the Big 12 tournament. We beat Oklahoma in the first round. So now we have won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of our last 8 games. And then we don't ever lose in the Big 12 tournament. We just get booted because Dave or somebody tested positive for COVID. Jay Will tested positive for COVID. We win our first round game against the Groves brothers. And then we just get annihilated by USC. And I am convinced.
Don't tell me that they have a set of brothers on that team, too.
If we don't lose to USC,
the fact that I thought we could win that game.
Do we think that team? Do we think of that team as badly? I do not remember us winning that many games late in that year.
I'm pretty sure we were 1-point favorites in that USC game.
Oh, we were.
They had Evan Mobley, top 5, solidified top 5 pick. Yeah, well, I'm sure we were all like, well, Bill Self gets to the Sweet 16. We got a chance.
Like you were saying last week?
Yeah, and I still probably will. Selection Sunday. But that's kind of what I wanted to get to is I guess we're still having this argument, which I would just say this is the worst team. Like, I don't care. There's one team you compare them to that year. Didn't even have fans. Like, I would say, but I kind of just want to ask you guys, like, would you be shocked if we play like 3 more games the rest of the year, or would you be shocked if we lose the next 2 games and our season's over? Like, shocked, I'm saying.
Absolutely not, dude.
Well, I think if Hunter is out,
that's what sucks is you have no hope because of the injury thing. Like, the fan in me could talk myself into a lot of things in this life, but having those 2 hurt.
If Hunter's out and we go small and we go on a run, Ryan, I'm never going to let you hear the end of it.
Oh, boy.
No. Oh, my God.
Because to be honest,
the good news is we'll have a full year to judge after this.
If you lose Wednesday, is there a chance we drop to a 5? And
I think we drop to a 6. If
Hunter
Dickinson's out, if Hunter Dickinson is out, listen, you assholes. If Hunter Dickinson is out, if Hunter Dickinson is out, they seed you lower if they feel like you're not healthy.
Right. But you have to come up with other teams that can take the 4 and take the 5 seeds. We're the top 4 seed right now. We're not dropping 2 full seed lines.
Those teams that are competing with us could go win 2 or 3 more games this week.
Yes, but all these other teams are going to lose. There's only so many teams that can win in conference tournament weekend.
You're not listening to what I'm saying, though. They have historically seeded teams lower than they should be if they're not healthy going into the tournament. That's a fact. Purdue was supposed to be like a 1 or 2 seed, like 2008. Robbie Hummel got hurt. They gave him a 4. That's a well-known storyline. I'm just saying.
Is it more likely we get a 6 or a 3?
Idiots. You can't just throw a comment out on this damn podcast.
6 or a 3. What's more likely?
3 by a long shot. Dude, Ryan, I
thought saying 5 I was going to get ridiculed. But
we will not be lower than a 4. That streak is going to continue. I don't care who's healthy, who's not. Look at the 5 line right now, dude. Go look at Lenardi's sheet that he tweeted out today. You think Clemson's going to hop us?
Do you realize what I'm saying? I'm saying if Kevin McCall and Hunter Dickinson are ruled out for the year,
sure,
and we lose by 10 points to Cincinnati on Wednesday night, or worse, West Virginia, you don't think it's possible we end up? I'm just saying. I'm not saying we will. I'm saying it's possible. And you're sitting here like, let's look at the 5 line. It's just a comment I threw out.
Because that's true.
No, because Clemson could go win 2 more games and they have a fully healthy team.
Right, and guess what? If they win 2 more games, Duke's going to lose a game, Duke's going to lose another game, and Carolina's going to lose another game, and South Carolina's going to lose another game. South Carolina's in the SEC. My bad.
Yes, I agree.
If
this is fully based on win-loss,
UNC's dropping below us from the 2 line.
Hunter, I don't care if Hunter's out and McCullough are out, I promise you they're not a 6 seed.
Okay, but actually, I'm
okay. Well, why are you so confident on not dropping to the 5? Because that's like 3 teams.
Even right now, Palm, who's usually more accurate on the seed lines, has us as a 3 still. Do you think losing 1 game to Cincinnati and a couple questions on the injury? Like, first of all, I don't think going into Selection Sunday.
A couple questions. You're too
okay, Ryan. I just listened to you. Listen to me. Fair. If I do not think there's a scenario we go into Selection Sunday where Hunter Dickinson and Kevin McCullough are ruled out for the tournament already. That is just speculation that they might be out for the first round or might not play the first weekend, like Joel Embiid. That's not going to be enough to drop this team from a 3 to a 6.
Okay.
Plus,
this team is not a 3 right now. I don't care what
you say. They are currently a 3 on Jerry Palm. They're a 3 playing 14 seed Toledo with Clemson as the 6 seed and the 11 seed being the matchup between Colorado, Braden's team, and St. John's and Rick Pitino.
Colorado beats us by 30.
430, Braden, is what they would beat us by. But still.
And by the way, let's just make one thing clear.
Off my left foot if we drop to a 6.
Let's just make one thing clear. I don't actually think we will drop to a 6. I just casually threw the comment like, God, we could drop to a 6. And you guys lost your damn minds. Like I had said, boys, I guarantee it right now we will be a 6 seed.
So, we lost our minds?
Yes. Yes.
Just
Because
Braden and I. Just Braden
Okay.
and I.
No, well, I
Just
lost my
Braden and
mind after you lost your mind. But
No, you lost it first.
no,
You said 6.
you guys.
We're having
I
to wash
said-
your mind off right now.
Oh
I
my
asked if we could be a
God.
5. I'm just God, can you imagine 5-12 game? Like how much 12s beat 5s? I mean, I would be convinced we lose.
Here's the deal, boys. It doesn't matter if we're a 3, a 4, a 5, a 6, a 12. We're losing the first round this year.
A 12? We can't be a 12.
Well, yeah, that's what happens when.
Honestly,
Never mind. That would have got
if,
drawn. I'll save that for the text thread later.
if Hunter and Kevin don't play in the first round, I have no idea what's going on with them. How many shots does Timberlake get up in that first round game?
Hannah just texted me, let it go. You're harping on the same thing and you sound like a sore loser. I don't even know if she hears your guys' argument on the other side.
Well,
But that's how
it's
loud
not really
I'm
an
yelling.
argument.
That's fine.
Timberlake 30 shots in the first round without Kevin and Hunter. He's
Just trying to have a nice glass of Sunday red wine and talk.
I was wondering if
basketball,
you were
guys.
drinking wine.
Cheers, baby.
Yeah, I guess we talked about it before the episode. Let's set an over-under for the amount of games they play.
3.5.
rest of the season. Okay,
3.5.
3.5. Comments, people in the comments, and Rye, do over under 3.5 more games for this team.
I'll say over. We're gonna play 4 more. I think we're gonna win Wednesday. Frank can't first day. Talk about a sad game. They threw zone at us and we had no answer other than like
God, you kind of have to
camp?
set it at like 4.5 because
I refuse
Yeah.
to make a push. I
You
think
would-
the answer is 4, but
you would think like they're gonna win one game in the Big 12 tournament. But God, Cincy, that's gonna be a game. And then
But-
you're gonna be a 3 or 4, you're gonna play a 13 or a 14.
yeah, all you got to do to
You would think
play
you
4
win
more
both.
games is win against Cincinnati and then a 13 seed.
yes. But
I guess
who's
if you
playing
said
in
it-
that game in Cincinnati, you know?
If you set it at
Oh.
4.5, would you dare take the over? Or I guess if it was at 4 and you're thinking worst case push, would you hammer the 4? Because you think they're going to win one in each tournament.
Wait, what did he just say?
I honestly don't even really know. But
What did he say, AB?
if it was 4.5,
No. Here's what he said. He said if it was 4, would you confidently say like so similar to when KU football was 3?
Yes.
Like a couple
that's
years
exactly
ago. Where
what
we're
I thought
like
about.
we're saying that they're going to win 3 games. We're going to take the risk that they win one more than that. Yeah, there we go. Don't let Cole go to Omaha this year, boys, or fucking Pittsburgh, wherever we end up.
I will say that I will not blame Cole if this team loses an NCAA tournament game. There are far bigger problems than Cole Pete being in the building.
I'm serious. How happy would you be if they make the second weekend? I'm
Braden,
serious.
I would throw a fucking party at my apartment. And I hate
And-
parties.
Say what? What seed, if you had to predict right now, what seed do you think we are in the big tournament? AB? I'm just trying to think what seed we could potentially be playing in the Sweet 16. Like, could we get ourselves to get on this pod and be like, well,
Yeah.
Self has a couple days. His record in the Sweet 16 is great. We're playing a high-seeded team.
The only way I'll do that is for the 4 in UConn's region because UConn's losing in the first weekend as well because reigning national champs don't make it to the second weekend.
We have a lot of people
Oh God,
accusing
we're
us
gonna
of
play a
being
1.
accusing us of being high. Ryan, you are high, Ryan. A 3 or 4 B turn is also high. You guys are high as fuck if you think KU wins 2 more games.
Well, that's a little insane. That's a little reactionary to think that we can't beat Houston and Toledo as our 2 wins.
You mean
right?
Cincinnati and Toledo? We cannot beat Houston.
We can't
and
beat
Toledo.
Houston. We can beat Cincinnati and Toledo, though. I will say that.
It wouldn't shock me to beat Cincy and Baylor. It wouldn't shock me. Like, I think if we played Baylor and we're healthy, I think it would be a game.
The thing that sucks, we just don't know what our team's going to be.
Yeah,
also. But
that's what
I agree. I think we'll be a 4 seed. As
really?
passionate as you guys made me just fight for 6 seed.
Ryan thinks we'll be a 4 seed.
Ryan's
Oh my
never
God.
screamed into his microphone. "Oh, shut up, you assholes!" Like I've never heard that in my entire life out of Ryan.
Because I made
Honestly, I
was
love it.
such a
No. I love the passion. I really do. I want to get
Call us
contentious on here.
assholes
I want to get contentious.
because of his
because,
mistake.
no, because you both reacted so hard to such an offhanded comment I made. It'd be like if when B-Turn was like, yeah, I took a future on Colorado to win the national title. And we were like, you what? You like, I just felt like it wasn't a deserved unleashing by both of you at the same time.
3 seed lines.
Oh, Jerry Palm's high. You want to talk about someone that's high?
Why is he high? He's got us 1 slot higher than Lenardius. He
Jerry's
has us as the
smoking
12th
K2.
team. Lenardius 13.
Oh man, it was just funny. I don't know why. I just couldn't. I was mainly joking when I brought up the 6 seed scenario, and you guys losing it on me it sparked something.
Don Reddy says you guys are high as fuck if you think KU wins 2 more games.
That's what I'm saying. They can beat fucking Cincy and Toledo. Can I say something that'll get us calmed down a little bit?
We have no fucking idea who's going to play for this team on Wednesday. I'm sorry, but I feel like if we were healthy and we had a shot, like I could maybe talk myself into a little mini run, even maybe at the Big 12 tournament, make the second weekend, but we have no fucking clue what we're getting with Hunter or Kev. Kev first off, has looked terrible since the Houston game. Hunter separated shoulder.
God.
Like, who's going to play for us? And do you guys low-key want to lose Wednesday? Not want to lose, but if this team could maybe be healthy by next Thursday or Friday, do you want them to lose and get some rest?
No, because I want us to hilariously talk ourselves into it like an Elite 8 run.
With rest.
I can see us on here on Thursday night after beating Baylor to go to the semis, and it's 11:30 at night, and we're talking about how this team's all the way back because we won against Cincinnati and Baylor.
If we beat Baylor, we are going to make the Elite 8, so I'll just get ahead of that right now.
Here we go. Let me go back to this point to calm us down a little bit. I'm not laughing at this man. I think it's very courageous. I was watching the end of the Stetson and Austin P A-Sun championship game today. Congratulations to Stetson. They made their first NCAA tournament of all time after winning. But I can't say that I didn't not notice that Austin P has a player with one arm. He has one arm, and he's playing D1 basketball.
Is this the guy that used to go viral all the time? Really athletic?
I'm not going to lie. I was switching back and forth between Indiana State and Drake.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
Could have been. But when the first thing I heard was, this guy doesn't let his disability hurt him on the floor. He just uses it to his advantage. And I saw him, like, they zoomed in on him. I was like, he's got one arm. It's kind of cool to see.
And he's playing, got one eye. He was minutes.
He was in the game with 8 seconds to go, down by 2.
Wait, so where are you going with this?
Nowhere. I just wanted to get us to stop melting down about
that guy
team that we lost 60.
It's playing for the Hawks.
What he's getting at is that guy would be the best player on our team.
If he was on this team, we'd be a championship contender, boys.
Maybe. Would you rather have Hunter, that guy, and KJ, or Hunter leaves? Just kidding. But
boys, the hair's a mess.
What was I gonna say? Oh, I guess not that we're really high on the team or think they can go on a run, but how are we feeling about Hunter's odds of playing? Separated shoulder. I don't think it was his left shoulder, which is kind of a big deal, but
I don't know. I don't know how dislocated shoulders are, how long they keep you out. I feel like sometimes they hold guys out for a while, but like, is there any chance that Self is sitting back saying, all right, Kevin doesn't even really want to be playing. He's not playing well. He's hurting his draft stock. Maybe it's best we just shut it down. If Hunter's, I don't think Self would do that, and I don't think Hunter would want that. But if Hunter's out for like all the Big 12 tournament for sure, like can't play, I guess you'd probably still
all of one game
tournament. Well, 4.
I swear to God, if we have to go into another tournament with someone on this involved with this program being like, well, they're not going to be, available for the Big 12, but we'll see how it goes for the first weekend. And then it's like, well, he's not playing on the first round. We'll see about Saturday. Because that's what happened with Bill. That's what happened with Joe. That's what happened.
True.
It feels like every year.
That's what happened with him. Did you already say Joel?
I said Joe, but
honestly, AB, with how you're talking about this team, would you be happy with not happy, but would you be satisfied with a first round win?
It's hard to say.
You said we're not winning in the first round, and you've said that for couple weeks actually.
Yeah, no, it's hard to say that I'd be thrilled by beating
Not
a 13
thrilled.
or 14 seed, but at the same time, I'm going to go into the first round game this year with significantly more interest than I have in first round games in past years. Where I was
What
like,
about when we played your Fighting Northeastern?
well, that one.
You've said every first round matchup we've had was a bad matchup.
Wrong. I said it one time because they had a guy from Serbia that was good, and I slapped my clit when we got Kansas City. That's just how it worked.
God.
Can we pin the B-turn stat line at 934? What would you guys give me?
I
Against
would
Cincy.
give you 1 for 3 from the field, 3 points, 3 turnovers, 2
Yes.
assists, no rebounds,
Easily.
and a foul.
Might as well use the 5 fouls.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's affecting anyone,
look, the guards that come off our bench love to use their fouls really quickly, so you'd fit right in.
I'm trying to think what Bill would like run for B-turn. Like, you know how his play for the, out of bounds lob. I don't think that's your play. Maybe
I could go Oach. We talk about all the good dunks at Sprint Center. Wayne Selden, Oach. I could
You're
see
gonna do that?
me just cocking one back. No, but
I was
really,
thinking elevator screen.
I played basketball Thursday night.
How'd it go?
I hadn't ran in like a year or two, or like just got any runs, hooped at all. My legs are still fucking sore.
Braden.
I can't walk, dude.
Braden.
I had no legs shooting
Just half a
threes.
week ago.
So now we got me hurt. We got Kev hurt. We got Hunter hurt.
My knee's gone, so I can't help.
I have brain
Dude.
injury
My legs still fucking hurt.
From recording this podcast for the last 70 minutes.
from hardcore fighting as that KU might be a 6 seed.
Can you pin the second to last comment?
Only if you tell the
Criticism?
people how good my layup was when I broke my ankle freshman year at the rec.
I'm throwing AB dimes at the rec. Just fucking dropping them to the AB. He missed 6 layups in one possession.
Yeah, but I got all the rebounds. Just passing stats. Dude. There was one time I was on a fast break by myself, and I couldn't walk for a week straight after that because I just rolled it so bad.
Oh my god, I would love to see
yeah.
that.
It was so
Bill's
funny.
Bill's been unreal since he got here. I mean, best coach, KU history, one of the best ever. I mean, obviously, never been worse than a 4. We talked about probably gets even more of a pass for winning a natty 2 years ago. So I feel like none of us have been critical on him because we probably shouldn't be. But I mean, God, just taking Arterio alone, I really think changed the outcome, like the ending or whatever for this team. Like you could have got a scoring guard, another option to score. Now you have 2 guys that can't really score. And it wasn't just a swing and a miss. He had pass. He had past history, domestic abuse stuff. You took the chance on him, didn't play a single minute. They never should have taken him in the first place, and he hadn't proven himself anywhere. He was a big recruit. He could defend, but, I mean, Bill taking him. And I wonder what the staff thought, right, when he got kicked off the team. Like, I wonder if they thought they might be screwed offensively.
I think sometimes the fan base has – fallen into this trap of acting like if Arterio didn't get into trouble, that he saves this season. Certainly would have helped, but he wasn't, like as you said, he wasn't a star at Texas at all. He really didn't even play much at Texas. The problem is you had the swing and a miss on Ontario, or not even a swing and a miss. You just made a bad decision. You missed on Timberlake. And I don't know if you call El Marco a miss or a guy that just wasn't ready. So I don't know. I think we overrate the Arterio thing more than it's just a combination of Arterio, Timberlake, and El Marco all like not working out.
I just think the last comment's funny.
Don Reddy is just
on your head.
He's ready.
No, I mean, that is true. We talked about that. That's why I kind of had my hopes up on Arterio. He looked good in Puerto Rico. I mean, they had Timmy Allen or whichever Allen they had. They had
Timmy.
Tyrese Hunter. They had Marcus Carr. So, yeah, there really wasn't much playing time. But just the staff taking him kind of – it sounds shitty, but made me feel confident because he had that prior history. Like, they're willing to take a risk on him. I felt like he had to be a stud, and kind of showed it in Puerto Rico. But yeah, it was obviously a terrible decision. And if you just go get like I was looking the other day, Caleb Battle, he transferred from Temple. He's averaging like 30 plus for Arkansas the last 4 or 5 games. Like, he's got a couple 40-point nights. If we were interested in him, if we got someone like him, we offered Boogie Ellis for USC a bag. He was worried about not being able to play right away because he had been a 2-time transfer. Like, any scoring guard that was a threat from deep, give you 10, 15 points a night.
But who do they play over?
I mean, I love Furphy, but I still think it's tough to put your trust in a true freshman. We've seen it a lot at KU where freshmen just go through their slumps.
Yep, but we're going to talk ourselves into
This would have been a proven scorer at high level D1 basketball. Like, yeah, Timberlake had scored, but it was at Towson. This would have been a Boogie Ellis or a Harrison Ingram, or I don't know.
Reinhardt.
Honestly, just getting Arterio, like, that's just that's a scholarship just gone. Like,
Forgot about Cam Martin.
But if Timberlake or El Marco just came in and played at their level, I still think played at the level we expected them to. El Marco was correct me if I'm wrong, a projected first-round pick, maybe a lottery pick.
You should have heard the comments coming out of Peach Jam, Ryan. It was crazy. He was going to be the greatest college basketball freshman to ever play the game.
Yeah, I'd be very shocked if he's back, by the way.
Christian, you simply don't want to see my big ass do an up and under. It would just ruin everything for every other team and give KU a championship. So, yes, I'm able to go on the block on Wednesday if needed. My knee's a little banged up, but we can make it work. Can we talk about something that's a little more uplifting for like 10 minutes so we don't just get off this pod and want to just cry ourselves to sleep going into a Monday morning of a fresh work week?
Sure.
I don't have anything in mind. I just,
fresh.
Just anything but us melting down about this team and talking about next year already. That's probably going to be a meltdown again a year from now.
Let's maybe we run back, or what are some spin zones that we could see? Like, I think back to 2019, the spin zone was make Sweet 16. You're in Kansas City. And if you get Bill Self, you get this team in the Sprint Center. Hey, you never know. And then 2021, it was like, hey, get Bill Self the Sweet 16. I don't even know who.
Get him in Indy.
Yeah.
I'll never forget AB. This is us. This is our region. Midwest. It has to be us. AB said he would rather play Duke than Northeastern. That wasn't, but Rise 6 line was super high.
We've got to get together for Selection Sunday next week, boys.
It's gonna be
I can't
so
believe
weird.
how
it doesn't have to be for KU purposes. Just here's the thing. I know we're diehard KU fans. I know all we care about is KU basketball. But here's the thing, and I want to lift our spirits before we get off of here. A week from right now, we're going to be on the podcast going game by game of a full bracket that is actually real and not a projection. We are so close to the best time of the year, and I know KU not being a legitimate threat to win it may hurt us a little bit, but at the end of the day, in 10 days, we're going to have 12 straight hours of college basketball. We're going to go to sleep. We're going to wake up the next morning, have 12 more hours of college basketball. We're going to go to sleep, wake up again, 12 more hours of college basketball, go to sleep, do it a fourth time on Sunday.
Great
like,
product.
We are so close to the best fucking time of the year. This is March. Get KU out of your head for a minute. It's March Madness, baby. We're here.
John Doe said those KU Natty futures of yours are looking great. Braden?
How about those Big 12 futures? We were like, KU plus 500? That's easy money. Why would we not?
Not to bring us down some more, but we did finish 5 games behind the winner of the conference, which is shocking to say out loud.
Also, something that we absolutely have to talk about is Kyle Filipowski.
Yes.
I mean,
the worst. But also Duke, just like the whole scene of fans.
Those fucking dorks.
The corny, their fans throwing water at UNC, and then John Shire in the same clip walking up and like, I'm sorry we lost. I'm sorry. Like, I am so I am so happy that Bill Self never apologizes to our fan base. Like, if Bill Self ever apologized to me, I'd be like, dude,
Fuck
you
off.
have provided me more happiness than maybe anything in the world. Like,
Don't
so
let Hannah hear that.
for Shire to, and it's such a Coach K move. I mean, remember after Coach K's last home game, first of all, we're sorry. We're sorry. that was unacceptable. Like, I hate that. They're such a corny program.
I almost went on a fucking rampage on Twitter last night about that program and how they still get recruits and why people still go there. It is the dorkiest school in the country. Their fans are dorks. Their players flop and trip. Their coaches are the biggest dorks. Like Shire might outclass K. Because, I mean, I hated Shire when he was there. He was one of the biggest floppers. Couldn't stand him. I think they won a natty, and when Hayward almost hit the half quarter, everything about them is so corny. Their high school gym with like 6,000 people.
Which, by the
Kinda
way, is
hot.
not, I mean, it's not.
Their view, the camera view from up top, just everything is just,
Yeah,
I don't get it. I know Nike
Yes.
probably funnels them.
Turn it up. No, the Brotherhood funnels it, dude.
But I was thinking last night, like if you had to pick between Kentucky and Duke, where are you going?
Kentucky.
Absolutely. And I hate Kentucky.
I think people forget how incredibly lame Duke University is outside of the basketball. Like, everything about that university is lame. I was going to say the basketball gym, but I think they have good facilities, and I'm sure it's awesome to play at Duke the same way it's awesome to play at KU in ways, but it is weird to see them get like, I can see them getting the Filipowskis, the Grayson Allens, the guys that want to embrace being a dork and want to trip guys, but like, how are they getting the Zions, the RJ Barretts, those guys, Camera? I mean, we know how, but it's just weird because guys can get bags anywhere.
Well, Zion came here, but he didn't want to. He wanted to play for free.
Yeah. Well, Brotherhood's valued way higher
Durham, North Carolina.
When what KT was offering.
Speaking of KT.
No, we're not.
Oh, fuck.
We're not.
There's been a lot of questions asking about Bill's staff. I'm not saying much, but I don't know. Do you guys think there needs to be change?
No.
Okay. Who do we play in Champions Classic next year? Michigan State?
I was trying to look that up. Yeah, the old Spartans, the January, February Izzos.
Who are I guess they're a 9 seed, but I saw people questioning why they're so heavily in and Indiana's not.
Indiana might make the tournament.
Their resume, I don't think it's about Indiana deserving to be in.
Indiana,
it's about no. Look at the
Mike Woodson.
He almost got fired.
No, look at the resumes. I'm not saying Indiana should be in. I'm saying, how is Michigan State so heavily over Indiana? I have a screen grab.
I have a screen grab.
They have the same record, but analytically speaking, Michigan State's 19th and Indiana's sitting at a brisk 86th.
Yeah, but this thing I had like strength of schedule, and I can't remember who tweeted it, but I was shocked because I was like, Michigan State is somehow worse than I thought.
Damn, K-State.
They started top 5. Indiana didn't lose to James Madison this year. That's good.
K-State's got a lot of work to do to get in. They're in like the next 8 out.
No, they're dead.
Done.
They'll be hosting an NIT game next week.
Dun, 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 dun.
God, where is this
they've been playing tournament games.
Hey, by the way, a couple weeks ago, Ryan said Iowa State was going to win the Big 12 and fairly easily. When he said they were going to win at Bramlage, I told you boys, you don't just walk into Bramlage Coliseum and expect a W. You just don't. Congrats to the Kansas State basketball Wildcats on beating Iowa State, with or without the cheating.
Why is this the funniest question we've ever
thing.
It's AB hammering a Five Guys burger.
Here's the thing, Don. Let me start soft and personal with Five Guys. Before everyone in Kansas City knew about Five Guys, I was eating at the original Five Guys in Alexandria, Virginia, Old Town. Great place, great spot. Eat your peanuts, get your fucking malt vinegar on your fries. place was great. The problem with it now is you got to take out a personal loan to go get a fucking meal. It's insane.
Lots of fries, though.
Lots of fries. They do fill you up, but here's the other problem.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on Freddy's?
Freddy's is elite. If I am going to spend $25 on a fast casual meal for myself, I don't want to feel like the biggest trash bag in the history of the world after.
I haven't been to Five Guys in a long time.
It's
John
so
Doe.
greasy.
Interesting comment from John Doe.
Culver's, dude, Culver's. Don't get me started on
Butterburger?
Butterburger. Their tenders are fire. They got the crinkle cut fries. I think their ice cream's a little bit better. Sneaky. Custard, excuse me, whatever you want to call it.
What is if you had to pick the GOAT ice cream place?
Silas and Maddie's, 119th and Strangline.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You can't, I feel like it's got to be like a popular one that everyone knows about because then they can't really have that argument.
Hey, is Sheridan's in like Kansas City at all?
Dude,
they're shutting down left and right, dude.
Tough scene. We love
I used
Sheridan's.
to get
Sherry's is good.
I've eaten so many
worms.
Oh my god!
Just had a dirt worm Friday night.
And Freddy's.
We had a fucking dirt and worms after KU beat Providence.
The diet's out of control this weekend. We're running.
Because we're depressed about our team because this is Runza. Do not bring up Runza. We don't live in Nebraska, Don. We live in Kansas.
There was one in Lawrence.
Yeah, not when we were there. It's closed. They still have the signage up there.
I want
It
to
was
say
absolutely
Runza
there when we were there.
Was it open?
I swear
Yeah.
Runza just did a
It was by
Time
connection.
out. There was a Runza by my my house that I lived out in Mission on Johnson Drive.
That's
That one, the
That-
signage is still the same.
Some
it's
would
been
say
closed
that's
forever.
not Lawrence.
Right, but that's where my mind went, living close to a Runza.
How late is Culver's open?
Probably
Oh,
10.
they got to be open late.
Cole just said they had them. Well, luckily we just recorded for 2 hours. Now I can't eat Culver's.
Yeah, and this
Yeah,
here it's the most elite Sheridans in the world.
because it's the only.
It might actually be at this point. Sheridan's do not exist in Kansas.
I drove by
I
one today,
didn't
that's
know
shut
that
down.
they even ever. I wasn't sure if they expanded there or not. I knew they had one.
Did they start in Topeka or they start in KC? Because I grew up with Sheridan's, but they've been closed for the last 5 or so years. They've been kind of shut
I
down.
thought they were started in Topeka, but
They
We
could
have-
have been, but they were definitely here forever.
We have
growing up.
two very important topics in the comment right now, and I'm kind of scared because I feel like we could go 30 more minutes. But
That's
one of them's Dan Hurley. The
Dork.
second one is the Missouri Tigers
dude,
defeated.
dude,
No.
Standing ho for the boys from Columbia, Missouri, that we only beat by 9 at Allen Fieldhouse. But you know what?
dude.
0-18 is a special accomplishment, and you know what? You can't wake up every morning as a fan of a team and say we've done something and only one other team in the history of basketball has done, and that's go 0-18 in the SEC. So good for them. Congrats to the Missouri basketball Tigers.
Dude, I had to do a deep dive because I was like, man, is the SEC just really top heavy with a bunch of average teams and Missouri just happened to be by far the worst? Vanderbilt won 4 games in the SEC and Missouri couldn't muster
You can't scratch
one.
off a home
Couldn't
win.
snag one of them. Not even a one.
I couldn't believe that.
Lord.
Vanderbilt is 9-22 and they won 4 games in the SEC and Missouri won
So
0.
before we beat Mizzou beat Wichita State at home by 10 points. That was on December 3rd. We played them December 9th and beat them. After we beat them, they lost, let me do the math. That is 21 of their last 22 basketball games, starting with the game against Kansas.
I
Their
don't
only win was
understand.
against 339th ranked Central Arkansas.
I don't understand because didn't they return? I don't know how many guys they returned, but they definitely returned that
No.
Nick Honor guy.
Yeah, the bowling ball.
Sean East,
Shawnee is
Noah Carter.
Tamar Bates was a transfer from.
Hey, Caleb Grill from Iowa State, who got kicked off the team for, I believe, racist comments.
And then he got kicked off Mizzou, right? Or did he get hurt?
I don't know. I
don't
looked
know
at the
shit,
Ken Pom page.
Defeated in conference play.
That's
I want to do more
18
research
cracks
on
at it.
Sheridan's.
Jesus. Honestly, what's your excitement level for the Big 12 tournament? On a scale of 1 to 10.
1.
I did obviously KJ gets to town tomorrow, and I was talking about golfing with him Tuesday. He's like, well, there's games.
Not KJ Adams.
We're talking about golfing with him Tuesday.
B-Turn's trying to convince him to transfer.
Hey, man, you know what?
We talked about it. The spacing's not working.
We'd love you here, but you know what? You'd be great. You would be great at South Carolina next year.
But I was talking
Speaking of that, you see
I was
that
talking
fight?
to him about golfing Tuesday, and he's like, well, there's games. I was like, yeah, at night. I get on ESPN. They start at 11:30 Tuesday.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
they do.
I am kind of excited about that because, my ass probably wake up 10:30, stroll on up there, play some bets before I get to the Missouri side,
what a life.
obviously, and watch basketball instead of waiting all day. So that's kind of cool. It's at 11:30 and then 2:30? 2? It's UCF and the Pokes.
11:30 and 2, and then
Wow, what a
the
game.
women's championship game is that night.
Lady Jayhawks should have made it. It's all rigged.
Almost had the Longhorns. Speaking of almost had teams from Texas.
I can't
Speaking of
believe right.
the
Talking
baseball
about
Jayhawks.
Shire.
The baseball Jayhawks. They
sorry.
took 2 out of 3
I'm
against
sorry.
TCU.
Dude, you can't apologize to your. It's just so weird. Has any other program done that?
He was so consulting them.
Consistently apologize to your fans like you just like there was a death.
There was.
How many coaches even go into the I'm trying to think. Like Texas Tech.
Jerome Tang.
Yeah, well, that was a given. Give him the cowboy hat. Tex coach does it, I feel like.
Musselman probably would.
Porter Mosier does it, I think. I went to an OU game in Norman last year. He went.
Can we talk about how nothing has gone well for Musselman since he popped the top against against Norm Roberts?
Ryan, don't forget that they were up by 5 points with 8 minutes to go at Kentucky. That's a good thing.
Oh yeah, true. Lost by, I think, a lot.
Yeah.
Musselman. I don't understand how Arkansas sucks, but we don't have to get into that.
We'll see him at Louisville next year.
Colby Hayes wants golf talk.
I slapped it around last Sunday a little bit, getting loose.
Tell me
getting
more,
ready.
Daddy.
Also, we get the clocks changed today.
Thank God, dude.
Extra
Honestly,
hour.
You were probably still up when they switched, weren't you?
me?
I got
No,
up at
beats
9 a.m. today.
Doesn't change that you probably went to sleep at 3, which is when they change at 2, right?
I did go before. It was like midnight or 1. Don Reddy, Tang to Louisville. Is Tang staying at Kansas State? Not even from a KU perspective. Like Naquan Tomlin's going nuts right now.
Yeah, he is. Holy
cooking.
shit, dude.
Like they're a tournament team with him, I think.
Oh yeah, I think Tang. I kind of think Tang's going to be back.
Well, Don Reddy's talking about you spanking your meat, so
It was a golf ball.
I forgot your comment.
He simply said he got up this week, slapped it around a little bit.
Oh
Ryan's watching Brazzers.
Yeah. Man.
wow. Well, anybody got any more ice cream takes?
No. I just
That's actually a really good question.
What's your favorite flavor of ice cream?
Who's dorkier, Tang, Shire, or Drinkwitz? That is a great.
That is tough.
I think it's drink.
Dork is I don't know if I've never thought of Tang as a dork. I've kind of more so thought of him
Are you sure?
Well, I guess I've thought of him as cheesy. I don't consider all dorks to be cheesy. Gotcha.
Yeah. But it's more dorky than cheesy to say that you just lost your second round game and now you got a Sweet 16 game against your rival in their own building.
Yeah, I know. So, you think that's dorky? See, I think that is so cheesy. And,
I think
dad coaching his 5-year-old son's basketball team type.
I do want to go back to something that you say about cheesy, though, because earlier when you were talking about Duke, what did you say? What did you say about Shire and Duke?
I said corny.
Corny. And you said you hated that behavior, right?
Oh God, yeah.
Interesting.
What?
This is the guy that wears number 6 for the Lakers seems to fit that mold as well.
I can't. We can't fire up. We can't fire up a LeBron.
I'm just getting sick of getting on social media and seeing that Michael Jordan didn't have a left. What do you mean he didn't have a left? His most famous fucking highlight of all time is a left-handed layup.
Watch the TikToks. I'll tell you.
I don't want to watch the TikTok because there's a bunch of fucking U's running around. And I mean U as in Y-O-U and Y-O-U-T-H walking around thinking they know what they're talking about. I'm not saying I know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I ain't watch. But it's a joke. And it's not saying their argument, like they're trying to make an argument to say that LeBron is better than Jordan, but when they're really making an argument is they're trying to say Michael Jordan wasn't good at basketball, and that bothers me to my core.
And they didn't watch him.
No, but I think the videos those guys are putting out are more about how, like, I go talk to my dad. He's like, 90s NBA, 90s basketball, you can't even compete. The physicality. Those guys played so much harder.
Yeah.
Talent level, so much higher.
Have you ever watched Trae Young play defense? Because tell me who's playing right now and who played in the 90s between Trae Young and someone.
But I'm just saying, if you really think the talent level, you think it's easier to be a star basketball player now than it was in the 90s?
Oh, if in terms of like raw numbers, yeah, a little bit.
No, I just mean like.
You mean the teams that average 50 points per game more than they did in the 90s? Yeah, I think it might be easier to put up some numbers now than it was in the 80s and 90s.
I think the players are a lot better. And
they're not 50 points a game better. That's not the only thing that changed.
Didn't say that.
Right, but that's what a lot of LeBron fanboys would say is that,
well,
you're now characterizing me as something I'm not.
I kind of get it though, because Jordan fans are never gonna say like Jordan fans do it too.
Yeah, and I hate the call. I hate the argument. It's like politics, man. No one's ever going to change anyone's mind.
You brought it up.
It's going to be so bad with Brady and Mahomes. It's already here.
Yeah, no, it is.
Is a good thing, I guess, for Mahomes.
And Brady is already doing the annoying stuff that people like I just made fun of are. Brady's like, oh, guys back when we played were, like I hate that
passing
stuff.
league.
And that's why.
Why'd you throw more picks?
I promise I will not. I hope I'm not that guy. When we're 70 years old doing this pod, I hope I'm not like, well, you should have seen Bill Self and those Kansas teams, I will be, but I'm just saying, I hope I'm not.
Dude, yeah. I was thinking of the last comment now. So we're going to have to have some interesting podcasts this offseason. Offseason might be starting next Friday.
John, I appreciate this because this is my goal with the whole pod in general is to I like talking KU basketball. I like talking KU football. I like talking about fucking everything. So if we can get everything. Braden, I know you weren't on last week. We talked about the Big 12 tournament fucking menu for 30 minutes, and it was some of the most entertaining stuff we've ever done. Can we tease something that we haven't fully figured out yet? But I think we're pretty committed to it.
Close.
No, but we're pretty committed. We're committed to the idea.
Yeah.
So we thought for the off season that we could do some sort of trivia team challenge where it's us 3 boys against 3 random fans that like the show.
I want Christian.
Yeah.
Who's been on my head? Who's been on my head?
I don't know. John Doe, every time football or every time food gets brought up, he mentions my name, which I take a little bit as a slap in the face. But I can own it. I can own it.
You've shown a very good.
I can own it.
Yes.
Yeah, but he asked me to rank the top fast food places in Kansas City. What am I supposed to do? I've had a bottle of wine while we're trying to talk about Hunter Dickinson.
I'm saying you've shown an expert analysis on.
Yeah. But anyways, back to the point. We're talking about a trivia challenge where people can create their own teams and come and play against us. Once we get it rolling, play against other fucking fans. Just have it be fun, something to talk about, something to do, something entertaining for our YouTube from April until September, because that's a gap where there's nothing going on. I love trivia. I love going outside the box. This just sounds like a fun idea to get other people involved and get, just keep us moving throughout the summer. So be on the lookout for that. We're going to try and, I would assume in April, once the tournament's over, we'll probably try and start something along those lines. So just be on the lookout for that and be ready. We'll have more details shortly.
Trivia rules. Like nobody dislikes trivia, I don't think.
And I'd be cool if it was KU trivia. I'd be cool if it was a mix of KU and random stuff, music, movies, restaurants, whatever we want to do. Just to give us something to talk about, something to do, and something to feel competitive. Because once you're older, I know you guys like to go golf and bet on golf and stuff. Me personally, I don't feel a lot of competitive moments where I'm involved directly, if you know what I mean. Like, I'm not going to go out on the golf course and compete against my friends because I'm not as good as my friends at golf. Like,
that's why handicapping is a thing,
right? But I don't care enough to come up with a handicap because I'm embarrassed with how high it would be.
Yeah, but you just gotta get the Gen app.
I'm not looking for another way to be competitive. I'm just looking for that. This sounds like an idea that we can be competitive in, and I'm looking forward to it. So.
Also, speaking of golf, hopefully throwing a golf tournament this summer.
Yeah,
I've randomly had a good amount of people hit me up since we talked about that on the pod. So
yeah,
Don, I hate to break it to you, brother. It is 10 o'clock.
Well, Don could be anywhere.
Yo,
it's true. He might.
How about that,
Time zones.
Ryan, there's a question for you at 10:02, and I really just want to see where you go with it. Like, I just want to see your answer.
Is Hunter a winning player? I would say no. I don't know how you define a winning player.
So it is 10 o'clock where you are, Don.
Hayes, Kansas is very much 10 o'clock.
Okay, Don.
Why is he the dumbass?
Wait.
Hayes, Kansas is not mountain time. Hayes, Kansas is very much central. I'm positive. I drive to Colorado every year. I know that Hayes, Kansas is central time.
For those, okay, Don says it's a joke.
Okay.
Well, we need to probably stop entertaining conversations in the chat while not telling the audio listeners what we're referencing. But yeah, I don't know. We've been doing this an hour 42. I don't know if now's the time to go into if Hunter Dickinson's a winning player or not. My whole thing about Hunter Dickinson all year has been I want him. I want his numbers. I want his stats. I want his playing ability down low, just like Bill Self does. But I think if Hunter Dickinson is the guy you're relying on to be your guy to lead you to a national title, no, you're not going to win a national title if Hunter Dickinson is the guy doing it for you. You need another star. You need a Devontae, you need a Ochai, you need a guy that is the true dog that is going to be the leader in the locker room, the one that's going to make you go, win these games. You know what I do think Hunter Dickinson is? I think he's a really good player, an All-American type player, and I also think you need those to win the national championship. And I would say we don't have any of those on this roster next year.
March is all about guard play. We said it before the season. Once Arterio was gone,
Christian.
I had a feeling, but I thought this team could be
KJ and Dewan
find ways to win.
Are the guys that will lead us to the national title.
Hey, baby, KJ and Dewan have championship rings.
Oh, yes. Good.
They were both on the floor in the last minute. Braden, were you watching the Celtics last night?
Where's the KJ? Yeah, how many glass of wine has AB?
Glass of wine?
I have
glass of wine?
I have had a bottle of wine tonight to myself since we started.
Let's make this 3 hours.
Look, here's the thing. I came into tonight very frustrated with the topics that we were going to talk about, and I didn't want to come off as negative Nancy, so I thought I'd loosen up a little bit, and I probably still came off as negative Nancy, but I don't know, boys. It's tough to be so excited for a team and expect a Final Four at worst, and now we're fucking talking about losing to Toledo in the first round and being realistic about it.
Yeah. I found my favorite picture. I'm sorry, I got to show this.
Let's see if you can get on.
Is it Luke Cornett last night?
No, it's oh God.
There you go. You look like you're 72 using an iPhone right now.
Index finger.
God, hold it up.
I was saving the photo so I could save it to the camera roll.
Sure.
Just one of the all-time photos.
There you go.
It's so good. Okay. How do you pull that up? I got to pull up the video from last night.
He altered that shot.
The contest, the winning plays.
You guys got to watch this. You ready? This
Oh,
is
I
from
love
the
this.
NBA last night. This is just so bad.
That looks great, coach.
This,
Jesus criminy. All right, right there. Oh, you dickweed.
damn it! Did it work?
It was in
No.
the perfect spot.
All right, there.
Woo!
Oh, you can't really tell.
Jump
Oh, here we go.
in, baby!
Oh my God.
And here's the thing about that video is the announcers were sucking him off like he just made the greatest defensive play in NBA history.
That's
They're just like,
effort.
well, he jumped
He
from
needs.
15 feet away from where he shot it, but if he doesn't jump, he doesn't distract him, and then that shot probably goes in, and Phoenix wins the game, and the Celtics don't get the 1 seed, and the Celtics lose in the first round. It's just like it's a Saturday evening basketball
Really?
game, guys. It's not that serious.
He jumped from the
I'm
circle
glad
to the basket.
AB has figured out how hard it is to correctly align.
Well, at least mine wasn't like under my name on the screen or something.
Yeah,
Ryan
yours was
loved
just
that.
filmed with a potato. It was
Go
as
fuck
rainy.
yourself.
All right.
Ryan loved that. He just wanted to see someone else fail it.
Well, because it's so funny.
He
how-
started laughing right away.
It's
No.
really hard.
I can't tell
And
if
I
this
recognize
John guy
that.
hates me or not. John either loves me or hates me. I can't tell. With his comments throughout the night, I've been keeping track.
We got Greg Gard and Don Reddy going at it.
And Zach Edey, we got Purdue fans in here. We got Wisconsin. Could be wrong, but it might be the Purdue fan that was in my mentions the other night that said Kansas was over. I don't know if you guys saw that. I don't know if it's him or not, but it's a Purdue fan that said Kansas is overrated.
I love
This year or as a whole? Because if we're talking about Purdue, don't get me started.
I'm pretty sure it was as a whole because it was talking about getting LJ Cryer and saying he
I don't
won't leave
think
his
that's
hometown.
possible.
Kansas is overrated.
it. Yeah, I saw that. I don't understand how a Purdue fan could possibly say anything until they at least make a Sweet 16.
Well, they made it, right? They just lost to a
If I
Double
gave you
digit
guys,
seed, right?
if I gave you guys a guess on
St.
how
Peter's
many,
in the Sweet 16.
Oh,
how many
true.
NCAA championships the Purdue Boilermakers have won men's basketball, what would you say? Just
I
guess. What would you say?
0.
I'd say
Zero.
zero. But you
Okay,
know what's
that's correct.
insane?
1 runner-up, 2 Final Fours, none since
Yeah.
1980. The last time they made a Final Four was the first time the Royals made the World Series. Think about that.
No, dude. You want to know something even more insane? Hold on. I need to fact check this. Oh, boy.
Can I say something while you look?
But we don't fact check.
Can I say something while you look?
I'm sorry, but boys, we're just gonna have to talk about this one.
Oh God.
No. What was that noise? Okay, I wanted to say this, though.
I'm marrying in that order, FMK. No. Flip Sydney and Pat. But I don't want to kill Tawan. That's so hard. That's a really good question, Don. Ready?
On back to Purdue, not to get us off the important topic. Purdue has now had Gene Katie, who is a Hall of Famer, and Matt Painter, who's a future Hall of Famer. Since when did Katie get to Purdue? 1980.
Their last Final Four.
Yeah, but I don't think he was the coach of their Final Four. Somebody
Nice.
correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think Gene Katie ever made a Final Four with Purdue, which means they've now had 2 Hall of Fame coaches from 1980 till now being really good consistently and have not made a Final Four. Imagine Bill Self, Roy Williams never
That's
making
correct.
a Final Four. That's awful. That's
Do you
hell.
think
I gotta go though, boys. You guys can keep
Well,
going.
Right. Let me say one more thing. Do you think it's insane that Arizona hasn't made a Final Four since 2001?
It is.
That or
It's-
because like we talk about Izzo not winning it since 2000. They've been to multiple Final Fours. Arizona has had some damn good teams.
I know.
They've
They
been
lost
to
in
the
this-
Final Four in 23 years.
Sean Miller had like that Aaron Gordon and Nick, what was that guy's name? Nick, the point guard.
Timberlake.
Yes.
Nick Johnson,
Nick Johnson, Aaron Gordon, those teams.
Tarzuski.
They lost
brother.
to
Reason.
Wisconsin in back-to-back Elite Eights. Like, yeah, Arizona.
I think there were 1 or 2 recently with Matherin. They've had some damn good teams.
Yeah, they were lost in the Sweet 16 to Houston in 2022, and then lost to a 15 seed in last year. So,
And last year when we all picked them all to cut down the nets.
yes.
We can get out on this. I can't wait to pick a bracket with you boys a week from right now.
Oh, no, but
wait.
the thing that's going to be a thrill is
Oh boy.
we have no idea. Like, we could pop up at any moment in the bracket. Whereas usually we're used to the whole, okay, which one seed? Now, last year was.
Oh my God.
You guys want to talk about Chris Reynolds and last year?
No, but I would like to suggest that we do a live pod during the selection show.
I think we should. I've got to get a TV fired up in here, and we'll be good to go.
Let's do it. Well, let's figure out who's behind. I know you're a Hulu TV boy, and that's about 20 seconds behind YouTube, but we can
hammer the Hawks to make the Final Four. Listeners.
I can't believe we
win the Big 12 tournament.
Win an hour 50.
I can.
Oh, I very much can. We say this every week. It's just what we do.
Tonight, when I said I was going to come do this podcast, I
Houston's
said
a title contender. I was a hater.
Yeah, Houston's a wagon, and they will win the national title. Is my prediction. All right, let's go.
What were you saying before this?
Well, I was like, all right, I'm going to go do that podcast real quick.
Who did you say this to?
To Hannah. And
you refer to this podcast as that podcast to your fiance of 3 years?
I'm just talking.
Don Reddy wants AB and B turn to stay on.
I want to hear Ryan's story here.
I was just saying, like, you know how lately I've been being like, I promise, we're not going an hour tonight. We only got a couple things to talk about. Tonight, I just said, I'll be done. Hopefully, doesn't take an hour and a half. Yikes. I even tried to, kind of throw in a hopefully, meaning it could, but we didn't even sniff an hour and a half. All right, boys. We'll see you.
What's that supposed to mean? We're just done after. That's how we're ending this pod?
Well, I thought you guys were staying on with
we can.
I shouldn't. I just realized it's 10:15. But
and you're pissed drunk.
I'm not pissed drunk.
It's time to fire.
Half pissed drunk.
All right, boys.
What else can we talk about? I'll stay on.
All right. Love you guys. Bye.
Love you more.
See ya. Have fun.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have much left, to be honest.
Someone said, we don't have to go for much longer, but the Houston title contender, I don't know why I was there. Maybe it's because they're in the league now, and I'm still salty from seeding last year, which we absolutely got screwed. But, obviously LJ Cryer, Shed, big physical team. It's pretty tough to score on them in general. Like, if you miss a shot, they're probably getting the board and they're going.
So
yeah. So I was saying that they're not going to win it all. Like, they absolutely have as good a chance as anyone. They're number one, Ken Palm. They go on these crazy runs. We've seen it all year, especially at home. And we talked about how many teams they've held under 50, but they string together runs. Like, they will hold teams scoreless for multiple minutes and go on these 16-0 runs. So when you're down 10 to them, it feels like you're down 20.
Yeah.
That's why on Saturday I was done watching. When it was 37-17, I was like, we might not score 40. We ended up scoring 47.
There was a point where I was like, all right, we can make this a game. What if we just won? What if we just beat Houston? Imagine how good we'd feel. I think it was 4-4. I think I blinked my eyes and it was 15-4 after that. Like, it just happened so quick, man. I can't talk about KU basketball anymore. I'm open to talking about quite literally anything else in the world. If I talk more about KU basketball, I'm going to have a mental breakdown.
Yeah, so I know we haven't been crazy locked in college basketball wise, but that's obviously getting to the point where Selection Sunday is a week from today. Do you have any sleepers to go on a run? Do you think it could be like last year where the seeds were really wacky in the Final Four? I know that's tough to predict, but do you have teams that you think are wagons, stuff like that?
I don't have a team I feel comfortable saying will make the Final Four. No. But I will say, and I know we just made fun of them, it feels like a Michigan State Final Four year, man. It just does. They still rank super well analytically. They have all year. They obviously have suffered crazy losses, but if they're in that 8-9, like I said it earlier, say they're the 8 or 9 seed against UConn, and the defending national champion always has the issue of getting out of the first weekend. I could very easily picture Michigan State beating UConn, getting hot, playing a 4 seed. Who knows? Now, will I make fun of them when they lose? Of course I will, because January, February is always the dumbest thing I've ever seen. But, like, honestly, you're looking at Michigan State is 19th. They're right behind us in KenPom.
Yeah.
Right behind us.
Top
And they're
10 defense,
5
right?
or 6 seeds lower than we are.
Yeah, 9th defensively. We're 10th now.
So, like, I don't know. That's just something I can picture. But when looking at it, I mean, I think we talked about this earlier in the year. There's 3 teams that we could probably say are probably the favorites between Houston, UConn, and Purdue. I need to see it with Houston. I need to see it with Purdue. And it's so hard to go back-to-back in college basketball. So I think it could be really wide open. I don't think it's going to be like it was last year, where it was, 4, 5, 5, and 9, or whatever it was, seed-wise in the Final Four.
Yeah, UConn was a 4.
San Diego State, Miami were both 5s, and FAU was a 9.
They were in the 8-9 game, yeah, I remember.
Yeah, so, like, I don't think it's going to be like that, but I think there might be 1 or 2 teams that might be between, like, a 4 and a 9 seed that could go on a run and make a Final Four.
Yeah, I don't think the Michigan State take is crazy hot. They have a bunch of seniors too, upperclassmen. They got some guards that can go. Tyson Walker, Malik Hall, Hogarth are still there, all seniors. So yeah, Izzo has experience. He's had weird seeded teams make the Final Four too. So
how do you feel about Gonzaga? They're kind of getting hot recently too, and they're on the 8-9 line right now, according to Palm.
Wow. Yeah, that's.
Imagine Michigan State, Gonzaga 8-9.
They got Nimhard from Creighton, right, running the point, and then they still have Watson. They still have. I'm trying to think who's even in their starting 5.
They got EK. Is that how you say his name?
Yeah,
Who's
Graham
in the portal last
EK
year?
from Wyoming, a guy that we were interested in. Reinhardt just commented in the comments.
What do you say?
Miss you guys. He's still watching.
He couldn't talk. He just had to watch. I get it.
Yeah. You said Colorado, my team. I did take them to make the Final Four when they weren't even in the field, according to Lenardi. They were like next 4 out. Now they're first 4 in. They are super talented. KJ Simpson, point guard. I think he'll probably go pro, but that would absolutely be a guy that I would want Bill and the staff to be on. They have Jalen Williams' brother, Cody. He's going to go top 5 in the draft. I don't know his health status. And then they have the big boy from TCU, Eddie Lampkin. So they have a super talented starting 5. If they make the field, I wouldn't want to play them. But, yeah, I'm trying to think of, like, sleepers. I still don't really think there's, like, a wagon. Like, yeah, Houston is terrifying. But I think why can't Houston have a night where they score 50 points? They can't hit any shots. So, yeah, like you said, they got to prove it to you. But I think UNC has a great shot because they have an elite point guard, pretty good big man. They're really good on the boards. They got shooters.
You want to know who I'm fading in the first round, regardless of matchup?
They got some experience too. Rumors are saying they played us in the Natty in 22. Same coach, same guard, same big.
I think FAU is going to lose in the first round.
What seed line are they on?
They're on the 8-9 right now. I'm looking at Palm. Lenardi may have it different, but they got them playing. He's got them playing TCU in the first round. TCU also kind of might stink too, though, for being honest. Lost to UCF last night.
My Natty futures before the year were stinky. I took FAU.
Ooh.
I took Kansas. I actually took Marquette, which we haven't talked about them in a while.
Yeah, they're irrelevant.
They're not winning it.
No.
This will come back to haunt us when Tyler Kolek averages a triple-double on the tourney.
They are top 20 in both offense and defense, though, now that I look at it.
So now you're in.
Yeah, I might be.
I do keep touching Kentucky, and I honestly don't think I know how you feel about Kentucky.
I'm out, dude. I'm out on Kentucky. You can't expect Kentucky to go on a run when they got the 93rd ranked defense in the country. I know they're electric. I know they have so much talent, and I know they can look insanely electric. But the defense is going to catch up to them at some point, especially in those like high pressure environments where shots may not be falling like they typically do. I could very easily see them being tripped up in like a Sweet 16 game against, I don't fucking know, Marquette, for example.
Yeah.
But
yeah, they would almost have to be perfect. And there's a game you always have to escape. It would be tough to see them winning ugly.
If they're playing at their best for 6 games in a row, I think they could. I'm going to trust history and say that the team ranks barely in the top 100 on defense probably doesn't have a good chance to win it all. But again, if they turn it on for 3 weeks straight, they're certainly talented enough to do it.
I wonder what those I'm sure we could go back and look, but those UConn teams that would get hot. I wonder if those teams were good defensively. What seed were they the year they beat Kentucky in the title game?
They were 7 or 8. I can't remember.
With Shabazz and yeah.
Because wasn't it 7 versus 8? Which I think they were a 7 because Kentucky played Wichita in the 1 versus 8, right?
Wichita State, yeah. They played K-State in the first round, I think.
What a crazy little bubble
Kansas? Yeah, Kentucky. They keep winning games, and I keep finding like they'll be 22-1 or 20-1 on a book, and I'll find them at 35-1. Found them at 35 on FanDuel, and then they beat Tennessee Saturday. So I feel like it's good value, but yeah, they would have to get hot, like insanely. And I think it's unfair to have those two off the bench.
Yeah.
Dillingham and Shepard, they're both going to go. I mean, Dillingham, I would take top 5. I think Shepard's a lotto lock. So
I think if Ryan comments one more time, we have to ban him from the podcast next week.
who was down? 3.
UConn.
Oh yeah. Yeah, dude. Shabazz, I think, went off.
I can look up that.
Who was on? It was Shabazz, DeAndre Daniels. Because I remember KU, we thought we were getting DeAndre Daniels.
When was that? 2014? Yeah, 2014. Boatwright.
Yep. Ryan Boatwright? Is that his name?
Terrence, yeah, Terrence Samuel. A bunch of no names. Jesus, dude. Yeah, they took St. Joe to overtime in the first round.
See, I thought I was gonna get I know a couple weeks ago I was saying we were because I thought Kev would be good, but I thought I could get myself to a point where we said, well, there's been way worse teams, go to the Final Four, win it all. KU's a 3 or 4. Why don't they have a chance? I can't even get myself to that. And even if I think if we were healthy, even
they're going to be a 3 or 4, but the 3 or 4 is based more on the games that happened before Christmas than after Christmas. Whether that's fair or not, it just kind of is what it is. They're not built to make a run.
Rye's killing me.
I know. We got to ban them. Also, it's 10:30. I got to be getting out of here, man. I'm starting to crash on you.
Crash
into me.
No, drink more wine. Bye. Love you guys.
No.
We'll probably be back. Fuck, I don't know. If we beat the old Cincy Bearcats.
Hey, that's a big one on Wednesday, boys.
Kenyon Martin is playing for them, I heard.
Huggins is coaching them.
Who else went there? Huggins is going to be at P&L drinking, and
I'm sure he will be.
Maybe driving.
Did you see the picture of him a couple weeks ago? He looks like a completely different human being. Got a full beard. Just vibing. He's sitting courtside.
Post-game Wednesday.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem with post-game on Wednesday, Christian. KU's going to be playing at 8:30 p.m. on Wednesday, hypothetically Thursday, hypothetically Friday, and I don't see the boys gathering it up at 11 o'clock at night on a work night.
I see this motherfucker doing it.
You might. I don't see Ryan.
Who wants to fill in?
Yeah. We'll have Christian join. Be great.
Christian, me and you. Wednesday night when we beat the Cincinnati Bearcats 51-49.
Do we think Travis Kelce will be in T-Mobile Center or Singapore on Wednesday for the KU versus Cincinnati game? I'll end it on there.
Free agency starts tomorrow. Go Chiefs.
It does. Hey, Chris Jones again.
Super Bowl 4 Sundays ago. Back to back. Some are saying.
That's crazy. 4 weeks ago, excuse me. A month ago.
Oh, I thought I had said that.
No. No. I just completely misspoke.
You need sleep.
I meant 4 weeks, 1 month. That's crazy.
You need sleep. You're soft. You're losing it. Bye.
What a great way to end the show.
See ya.
All right, folks. Kadarius Toney better never play another snap for the Chiefs again. That's how I'll end this one.
Wow.